So I'm going to get started. Today is my first entry. It is March 3rd, 2013. I am going to be 3 weeks post-op tomorrow. And tomorrow I am headed back to work after 3, I would love to say glorious weeks off, but the first 2 were awful. This last week was kind of just everything coming back together, coming home from my parents' house, and trying to just organize my life back here at home, which, because I've been so tired, was not exactly successful. I did clean out a few cabinets in my kitchen, got rid of some or most of the food that I can't eat anymore to make room for all of my new nutritional items. So I got that done. Little things here and there, just trying to prep myself to return back to work tomorrow and all that. But like I said, there's still plenty of work to be done around here. Just a little bit about the last 3 weeks. The first week, the week of surgery. First of all, hold on. Let's talk about the snowstorm that decided to hit 2 days before I had to go in for surgery, dumping 3.5 inches of, feet of snow on the state of Connecticut. I still can't believe it. To this day, I will never forget it. I woke up on Saturday morning, looked out the window, and wanted to fall down. I couldn't get over the fact that we have not had that much snow, and I can't even remember how long, since like the 70s supposedly, which I don't remember because I was a baby in the 70s. But 3.5 feet of snow in my parents' front yard where I was staying because they forewarned me that I might be stuck here at my condo if I didn't stay there. Well, good friggin' thing that they did, because I never would have gotten out of here. Nobody even plowed my street. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, crying, shoveling snow out of the driveway, couldn't get to my car, couldn't get the plow guy to come. My parents' plow guy's wife had to come with her daughter to come snow blow part of the driveway just to clear out my car so that I could then shovel the snow from around the car. My mother literally moving it with her hands so that we could free up my car so that we can make sure to get to the hospital on Monday morning. Sunday night, the hospital calls me to make sure that I'm coming in because Dr. Bell wanted to make sure we were going to come in because he was definitely going to be there if we were coming. I still can't believe it. I still can't. So anyway, all was well the weekend, minus the fact that I was so stressed out from the snow. I had to take my sister back to Milford on Sunday evening. I got back to my parents' house. I didn't have my hair stuff. I couldn't get into my condo. I didn't have my bathrobe. I didn't pack everything that I needed when I left here on Thursday night. I mean, it was just awful. I bought a new hair dryer just so I could wash my hair before surgery. I had to see what my mother had for hair products because the shampoo I use, you can't just go to the to this pharmacy to go buy it. So anyway, whatever. I got all ready. Went to the hospital at like 11:30 on Monday morning. I took a Xanax and everything was fine, all pre-op. I didn't get upset until I said goodbye to my mother. Look, I get a little upset now. I walked into the operating room. Dr. Stevenson was my anesthesiologist, even though I asked for another one, but whatever, he was fine, I have to say. He was very nice. He did a great job. In the operating room, they had to wedge me up on this foam wedge so that I would breathe correctly during surgery. And it all kind of was just a haze after that. I remember waiting, standing by the table, waiting for them to prep whatever. The nurse was holding a Johnny coat around my rear end, and I was laughing at myself because it was just so ridiculous. I couldn't just hop on the table, and I'm so vulnerable at that point with just a Johnny coat on, and then there's all these doctors and nurses and whatever. I'm a private person. For me to even be there was just insane. Whatever. But, you know, put the mask over you. I hear so and so talking. The nurse was right there. A little problem getting my arm to where it had to be for the IV and the blood pressure cuff. But other than that, fell asleep. I remember waking up. They woke me up in the operating room. I remember the lights. I remember seeing Dr. Bell. And that was it. Next time I woke up, I was in the PACU. And I heard my mother coming around the corner saying, "What, she's still sleeping?" I was like, "No, I just want to keep my eyes closed." I felt awful. I was so nauseous. I had awful pain right in the upper left quadrant of my abdomen, and I think that was just from the drain. It was hard for me to take in a deep breath and whatnot, but otherwise, besides the nausea, because that was awful. I don't know if it was from just having everything jumbled around or if it was from the anesthesia. Everything else was okay. Until about 5 o'clock when they couldn't give me any Compazine to take away the nausea because my blood pressure was so low, because my PCP decided that I should take my lisinopril that morning, which, of course, when I told the anesthesiologist, he got upset about it because it was only going to bring down my blood pressure, which it did. So I think it was like my blood pressure was like 90/62 or something, which was really low for me when I had been going about like 130/80. I think that morning I was 122/80, which was good, but whatever. So couldn't have any Compazine to help me. About 5 o'clock, they decided to roll me up to the 8th floor to bring me to my room. I get to the front desk after all the jostling around and the elevator and all that nonsense. And one of the nurses asked who I was, and he gave the last name. And they said, "Well, her room isn't ready yet." Awesome. Thanks. So what happens? I get spun around, rolled back into the elevator, back down to the 3rd floor, back to the PACU, where I had to lay hot and sweating and nauseous and feeling awful until 8:15 that night. I can't tell you how much I wanted to kill someone because I just felt awful and I wanted to be in my room. I wanted to be away from everyone. I didn't want to listen to people who were coming out of surgery and what their pain level was and if they knew where they were and all that nonsense. So whatever. But at 8:15, I got rolled upstairs again, and by the time they got me down the hall to my room, I thought I was going to lose it. I was so nauseous, I wanted to throw up. Thankfully, the orderly that was pushing my bed knew to put some alcohol in front of my nose, and they waved just like a little alcohol pad, which really helped, thank God, because I really thought I was going to throw up. And that was it. My nurse Amanda, who helped me get situated that night, was wonderful, I have to say. I don't remember the PCA that night. She was sweet. I don't remember what her name was, but she was only there till I think midnight, anyways. But they helped me whenever I needed it and got me, thankfully, the little sponges to help my mouth because it was so dry and all I could do was wet it. I couldn't swallow anything. So all night, that's all I did. Dip it in the ice water, put it in my mouth, and just wet like the insides and my tongue and all that. That, I have to say, was tedious. It was just, I'm so used to being able to drink that not being able to drink water for almost it was 24 hours. Actually, it was more than that by the time I got up in the morning. But was a pain. But they got my mom a cot so she could stay there with me that night because the roads were so awful. I didn't want her driving home, especially when she was in my car. So she stayed, and she said that all night long that I was moaning in my sleep, just I think from pain and everything. So when I got up on Tuesday morning, she went home to go change and everything, and I had to go for my barium test where I had to swallow what tasted like Ajax. It was awful, just to make sure that everything was sealed, that the staples held, and that there were no leaks in my stomach and all of that stuff. And that was a joke too, because I got rolled down there, and then I waited a little while outside. Then they brought me into the room. I was laying there with a nurse, and then there was a resident who came in and introduced himself, and they were waiting for the doctor, and I think the doctor took like a half hour to get there. I was on my little gurney first, and then they put me on the slab that you had to like lay on. So I was flat on my back. Then she tilted me upright so that my feet were like pressing onto this metal plate at the bottom. I was hot again because my glucose was so high. I was so hot. I had a little towel on my head. I was feeling nauseous. All I wanted was a friggin' drink. And finally the man showed up. I swallowed the Ajax, and she even said, she's like, it's gonna taste a little bitter. I was like, bitter, ugh. So I swallowed it. They examined what they had to examine. Turn your hip this way, turn your hip that way, whatever. And then the next one, she was like, this one tastes a little bit like strawberry. I was like, yeah, strawberry Ajax. It doesn't taste good at all. So thankfully they were tiny little sips that I had to taste, and the doctor said I was fine and whatnot. So he said, I was free to drink water when I got upstairs. So 1 ounce of water an hour, taking little sips, but I did it. Oh, thank God I did it. And I was kind of in and out that day because I was still on pain medicine, and nothing much. I mean, Dr. Bell came to see me, and his residents came, and otherwise, I just watched TV. I couldn't even read. I walked the floor with Jen, my surgery buddy, and we both just kind of woe's me'd our way down the hallway and back again, and that was it. Mom came up for a little while, then she went home that night. I watched a little TV. I went to sleep. I remember the overnight nurse. Oh, Amanda came back and was my nurse that day, and Martha was my nurse that morning. She was really sweet too. And my overnight nurse, I don't remember what her name was, but when she woke me up at like 5 a.m. the next morning to do my medicine, we were talking about where she was from, and it turns out she lives on my street somewhere, which I don't remember where, but when I told her what street I lived on, she said she lived the same place. So small world. Wednesday morning, I was discharged. Dr. Bell came about 10 o'clock, said that I honestly could have gone home the night before, but he didn't want to tell me that. So I, obviously stayed the extra night, and then he okayed me to start some Ensure, which I did. My discharge nurse was awful. Oh my God. She had the surgery, I think she said like 2 years ago, and was more interested in talking about herself than she was about my well-being at that point. And she was like, I have my scrubs in my locker. And I was like, I don't care. Can I go home? So I had my 2 ounces of Ensure, I think, or 1 ounce. I don't even remember at the time. I think I had 1 ounce at a time before I left. So Dr. Bell came at about 10 o'clock that morning and said, okay, it was, I could go. And I'm waiting. I packed up everything. The PCA that morning was like, oh, you're still here? I'm like, I'm waiting for my nurse. Well, I guess down the hall there was a very intolerable patient who was throwing water bottles out into the hallway and wanted everybody's attention. And of course, my nurse was assigned to him. So she was with him most of the morning, still waiting for me to get discharged. She didn't know how to print my paperwork. She didn't know what the hell she had to tell me. I mean, she was just the worst. But anyway, about 1 o'clock, I finally got to go home. Mom took me back to her house, and that is where I stayed for 2 weeks. Mainly because I had a lot of pain in my main incision, and I just couldn't walk Gracie, and it was just easier to have her there. Plus, having mommy and daddy around always make you feel better, no matter how old you are. So, we just hung around. I sat on the couch. I did some journaling. I did some Pinterest searching, which was awful. I don't know why I bothered to do it, because all it did was make me hungry. And I thought that I was hungry until I started really starting to fill up on water and everything. And chicken soup broth. Oh my God. Thank God for chicken soup broth, because it really saved me. Because drinking all that sweet was really just blech. So to have the savory taste of broth was good. And I try to have it at least once a day. If not, I had it twice. And now I wonder if I've jaded myself from grape flavored Propel, because I feel like it's all that I drink, and I don't know if I could drink grape anything again. So my only issues after surgery were really, like I said, that main incision really felt like it was tearing apart, and I think that the weight from my stomach was just pulling it down every time I stood up. So I was walking hunched for almost a week, I think, and I couldn't really walk on the treadmill. I was trying to move, and it just wasn't happening. So the Tuesday after surgery, I had emailed Dr. Bell about it again, and he told me to come in, but he said I was doing fine. I lost 14 pounds by that time, and that it would heal. And in all honesty, it was overnight. Thursday night still bothered me, couldn't sleep on my side or anything. Friday morning I woke up and I felt better, not 100%, but better at least. So that was really helpful, because oh my God, it really felt like my abdomen was tearing open. So by then I started to walk on the treadmill a bit, 20 minutes at a time. I was doing just a little exercising, some resistance bands and all that. And, I had a few bad nights. There was one night where I just felt sorry for myself, just wondering what I did to myself and everything. And everybody told me, ooh, as I get teary, that it would happen. And it did. It certainly did, at least once or twice, where you kind of wonder, oh my God, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? I'm only 36, and I am going to have to live this crazy lifestyle forever. But no matter which way I look at it, I was going to kill myself with my weight anyways. And I was so afraid. I had started to get bad circulation in my legs, and the last thing I ever wanted was to lose a leg, because who wants to go through the rest of their life missing a leg? Not me. That's for damn sure. Excuse me. Iced tea. Sugar-free iced tea. So anyway, this past Wednesday, February 27th, I did finally come home to my own home. And like I said, since then, all I've been really doing is just trying to straighten up and get rid of all the stuff that I can't have here anymore, just to get rid of temptation and all that. I went to Target. I bought myself some cheese sticks. I have plain yogurt. I'm using some sugar-free syrup to flavor the yogurt, which is really good. It's the Torani sugar-free. The raspberry is what I've been using. So I tolerate the yogurt really well. Scrambled eggs I can have, and the cheese sticks. Otherwise, nothing else is really appealing to me. I'm still trying to drink all my waters. I went to see Dr. Bell for my 2-week post-op on Thursday, and at that point I had lost 28 pounds. So 28 pounds in 17 days was crazy. I haven't weighed myself since, but I'll weigh myself this week to see how I'm doing. But I don't know. These last couple weeks, like I said, have just been crazy. I think my mother for taking care of me. I don't know what I would have done without her. My friend Sarah, she certainly checked in on me all the time. My sister was more than thrilled that I finally went through with this and that I was on the road to recovery and the road to becoming healthy. And, I am thankful for that support. Funny that I didn't get support from one of my, what I thought was close friends, who I was really shocked with, honestly, that I didn't hear more from her, especially with her knowing how big of a deal this was for me and how scared I was to do it. But, whatever. What are you going to do? I'm happy with my life. I don't need nonsense from anyone. So, that's it for now. I guess I will check in on a weekly basis, maybe next Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, one or the other. And this week I start on a little bit of fish. So I bought a piece of salmon today at Big Y. I got some goat cheese to try different cheese. I got 75% fat-free cheddar cheese. I can't have any fruits. I did get some spinach to try. I'm going to make it with eggs. And that's about it. I'll check in with, cross my fingers that the fish does alright this week. I really have to work on getting my protein in. I made a huge pot of soup today with all vegetables in it. I have kidney beans and garbanzo beans in it, so it's a little bit of protein. I'm going to try to put the unflavored protein powder in it and see if that helps any with my protein intake, because like I said, really right now all I'm eating is like a cheese stick, which is I think 3 grams of protein, 1 egg, which is 7, and yogurt, which I think is 7 as well, which I'm hardly even eating any of it. It's like 3 or 4 tablespoons or teaspoons, and I'm done. And the egg, I can't even get the whole thing in, so whatever. But like I said, continue to drink my water or my iced tea. I'm gonna have some hot tea later. No Great Propel for now. And that's it, I guess. So I shall see you in a week. Cross your fingers I'm down a couple pounds by then. Alright, bye-bye.